myself Dr. Preeti Jagmani. I am from Department of Computer Science, Arabhat College, University of Delhi. So, in the previous lecture of this series Programming in Java, we have started with the term interfaces and we have seen a little bit of basics of what actually is interface, and our today's agenda or in this lecture we are going to cover the interfaces in detail. So, basically interfaces, when we talk about it, is actually a kind of a blueprint of behavior of a class, and we can say it is kind of a mechanism to achieve the abstraction, or in other words we can say it is an abstract type used to specify the behavior of class, and what actually it contained is about the static constants and abstract methods. Now, static constants and abstract methods and static constant, these two terms are there, and I am sure from the basics of any basics of even we can say Java, you are aware with these two terms, static constants and the abstract methods. And if we look into the syntax of the interfaces, it is very simple to kind of we can say create interface. So, interface, and within the body of the interface, within the curly braces, we are going to declare any constant fields, declare the fields which are constants, and declares the method which are abstract by default. And this we will be looking with the help, this we will be studying with the help of examples also. So, here when we talk about the term interfaces, it actually means as we have seen in the syntax, it means that all the methods in the interface are declared with empty body, because we are talking about the abstract methods. So, abstract methods, there is no body with the abstract method, and these are all public and all fields. So, the methods are abstract and public as well, and all the fields which are the members apart from the methods are going to be public, static and final by default. So, public, that means they can be used by the code outside that particular package or source file, we can say. They are static and they are final. So, final as in the value cannot be changed. So, by default they are public, they are static and they are final. So, this is what I am talking about, all the fields. And if I am talking about the methods in an interface, they are declared with an empty body, that means they are abstract. Now, if there is no body inside the method within an interface, then what is the point of declaring such method? So, basically your interfaces will be kind of implemented by class, and a class that implements an interface must implement all the methods declared in the interface. So, for example, if there is an interface I1 and it is having 3 methods and there is one class C1 and that is implementing an interface I1, then all the methods, all the 3 methods, body of all the 3 methods must be given by this class C1. And in order to create the interface, we will be using the word interface, and then there will be the body of the interface. In order to implement the interface, we need to use the keyword implements. Now, with this, when we say that the fields are there, but they are the final fields, they are of course public, but static too, and then there are the methods which are abstract methods. So, the first question which comes up in the mind is then why do we actually need these interfaces, or what is the utility of these interfaces? So, basically we can say these interfaces are having 2 very particular usages in case of programming in Java. So, first is to achieve the total abstraction. As I have told you, the methods are abstract, that means no body will be defined, body will be defined by the class which is going to implement that interface. And also the second point says that Java does not support multiple inheritance, at least in the case of classes. So, multiple inheritance, that means it will not allow a class to inherit classes more than to inherit more than one classes. So, that is what you call multiple inheritance. So, in the case of a class, this is not possible, but yes, using the mechanism of interface, Java programs can achieve multiple inheritance. So, basically there are two uses. One is to achieve we can say your abstraction, data abstraction or total abstraction we can say, and also to achieve multiple inheritance, because any class in Java can extend only one class, but that particular class or any other class for that matter can implement an infinite number of interfaces, and how these multiple interfaces will be implemented, that I will be covering in a short while. And then yes, we can say that it is achieved to it is used to achieve, or the interfaces are used to achieve loose coupling, and with the help of these interfaces we are able to implement the abstractions. So, a very kind of a very obvious or a very logical question is there. We have abstract classes also, inside which we have abstract methods. Then what is the use of interfaces? Why are we using interfaces when we have abstract classes already in place? So, the reason is there is a kind of difference between the variables inside the abstract classes and the variable inside the interfaces. Abstract classes may contain non-final variables, that means the value of those variables can be changed by other components of the program, whereas the variables in the interfaces are public, static and final also. Let me help you recall that a final variable is a variable that can be assigned a value only once, and therefore cannot further be altered or modified once assigned. So, that is what the kind of final variable is. So, inside the abstract classes, the variables which are contained they may be non-final, but variables inside the interfaces are will have to be final, public and static. Now, let us take a simple interface as the example. So, here is a simple interface named as player, and we have named it as player, and two of the members, one is an integer member which is a field we can say is ID, and the value it is 10, and please notice the word the keyword final here. So, final int ID equals to 10, and now as the variable ID is final, the value cannot be changed, and then there is a method which is returning an integer value, and it is int move, and there is no body inside, there is no body pertaining to this method move, because of the simple reason we are putting this move method in the interface, not actually outside it. So, within the interface there is no body allowed, and the field which are there will be going to have the keyword as the final, and then they are like final, public and static by default. I am talking about the fields here. Now, when we talk about the classes and interface, is there is a relationship between the two? Yes, we can say there is an a relationship between the classes and interfaces, because a class can extend another class. Similar to this, an interface can extend another interface, but only a class can extend to another interface and vice versa is not allowed. That means an interface cannot extend to another class, but a class can extend to another interface, and a class can extend another class also. And here is in order to understand these things, here is a figure. So, a class can extend another class given on the kind of the leftmost side of the picture. You can see two rectangular representing the two classes. So, a class extends another class. Then a class can also implements an interface, I can say, and then one interface can also extends another interface. So, I can say classes can have hierarchy in between them, interfaces can have hierarchy in between them. Also a class can implement interface, but we cannot say that interface will extend either class or implements the class. That is not possible. So here we have the figure showing these different scenarios, which is actually depicting the relationship between the class and the interfaces. Now, are there any differences apart from this relationship? Are there any differences between classes and interfaces? So, the answer is yes. We have variety of differences between these class and interfaces. Within the class there are variables that can be instantiated. That means in class you can instantiate the variables and create an object. For interface you cannot instantiate the variables and create an object. So, it is not possible to create an object of the interface. It can only be extended by an interface, or it can only be kind of we can say implemented by a class. A class can contain concrete methods, that means these are the method which are with the body, but the interface will not have concrete methods. That means all the methods will be abstract there without the body. The access specifier used with the class are private, protected and public, and there is also one which is we can say is the by default access modifier when we do not use any of these keywords, which is private, protected and public. And in interface only one specifier is used, and that is public. You cannot have a private or protected access specifier inside the interface. Now, why do we need interfaces? So, or we can say what are the advantages of having these interfaces. So, without bothering about the implementation implementation part, security of the implementation can be achieved. We need not to bother about how this is going to be implemented, but yes, security can be achieved because they becomes a part of the interface, and then therefore, there is no body will be given by the class which is going to implement that interface. Also another advantage is the kind of we can say bringing in place the mechanism of multiple inheritance, which is not allowed directly in Java, at least in case of classes, but yes, one can use an interface because more than one interfaces can be implemented, but more than one classes cannot be inherited by a particular class. So, multiple inheritance is which is kind of we can say not available in Java in case of classes, but yes, we can have it by using the interfaces. Now, let us see here all these things with the help of an example, and the example program says import. We have imported one particular package which is IO, and all the classes within this IO, that means import java.io.star, and we are going to define a simple interface which is named as in1, and then there are only two we can say members to this interface. One is an integer a which is equals to 10, and this is given as final, and by default it will become public and static too. So, final int a is equals to 10, and there is a method which is named as display, and that method by default will become public and abstract. So, here is the definition, or so here is the body of one particular interface which is defined as in1, and it is having one variable which is named as a and one method which is named as display. Now, we need to have one particular class which is going to implement this interface. So, interfaces are to be implemented and classes are to be extended. So, there is a class named as test class that implements in1, and as this class implements in1, so implements here is a keyword which is being used for implementing the interface by any class. So, for example, if a class is kind of, we can say, if a class is implementing an interface, this class will be, the signature of the class, or the class starting will be written as class name implements interface name, and the methods which are available inside that interface, and obviously there is no we can say body to those methods. The body is to be provided by this particular class which has implemented IN1 or that interface. So, there was one method which was display. So, here we are defining the body of that display method, and display method is public and it is returning nothing. So, public void, then we have display, and this is simply, let us say, printing any word or doing any particular task. So, here this was just a simple interface with two members, and that interface is being implemented by a class test class, and the method which is being given as abstract over there inside the interface will be given body here inside this test class. And this was kind of, we can say, a simple interface and a class which is implementing that interface, and within the main method we are going to instantiate the class. Interfaces cannot be instantiated, please remember that. So, test class and the name of the instance variable is equals to new test class, and with this instance variable name we can call the display method, because now the display method is being implemented, although that display method is having its signature and the blank body inside the interface. This display method has got a concrete implementation inside the class test class. So, with the instance variable of class test, we can call this function display t dot as in t dot display, and we can also use the variables which are available inside the interface which is being implemented, and hence we have printed the value of a. So, here the display will be executed and will say the term geek which was given inside the body of the display, and then we the value of variable a, which is 10, will be printed. So, that will be the output of this interface implementation program. So, here we have seen what actually an interface is and how to create the interface, then how to kind of use the interface, how to implement the interface in a way. And now there are certain points to note about these interfaces, although we have covered most of those points already in our discussion presently, but let me reiterate that, like abstract classes, interfaces cannot be used to create objects, you cannot instantiate your interfaces. Interface method, as we have seen, does not have a body. This is being provided by the class which is implementing that interface. An interface cannot contain a constructor of its own because it cannot be used to create objects, and the use of the constructor is to create the object. So, for example, if we have an interface in1, within that interface we can have a method which is named as in1, and that is going to work as a constructor. That is not possible, and on implementation of an interface, the class which is implementing that interface must override all of its methods. So, for example, there are 3 methods within interface and a class is implementing that interface. All the 3 methods must be overridden by the class, and if any one of the method is being left, that means the body is not being provided by the class which is implementing the interface, that is not going to work, you are going to get errors in your program. Interface methods are by default abstract and public, and interface fields, or we can say interface attributes, are by default public, static and final. And we have also seen that these interfaces are there to achieve the security, that means to hide the certain details and only to show the important details of an object or of an interface, we can say. And also this is used to achieve multiple inheritance. Now, we have seen that multiple inheritance can be achieved with the help of interfaces. Now, let us see how it is happening. So, here we have a program showing the working of multiple interfaces. So, for this we have made one interface which is named as first interface, and then there is a method which is named as my method, and that method is public obviously and returning nothing. So, void, it is an interface method and hence it is not having any of the body. Similarly, another interface which is interface second interface, we have public void my other method as the name of the method which is contained inside this second interface, and because of the method belonging to the interface, it is also not having any body. So, here we have two interfaces, one is the first interface, another one is the second interface, and now we have one particular class which is named as demo class, and that demo class is implementing these two interfaces. Now, please remember that it is okay, it is possible for a class to implement two interfaces, but it is not possible for a class to extend two classes, and this extension of more than one class by a subclass is actually what you called is multiple inheritance. So, here this class demo class is implementing first interface separated by comma, the another name of the interface which is second interface, and as it is implementing the two interfaces, one is the first interface, another one is the second interface, the methods which is my method inside the first interface and my other method inside the second interface are needed to be we can say given a body or needed to be provided with a body inside this class, and so it is done here. Public void my method and some text is being printed, and within the public void my other method some other text is being printed. So, basically the bottom line is the signature is being kind of given inside the interface, but the implementation or the body is given inside the class which is implementing the thing. So, here as we have implemented multiple methods separated by comma, then which is not possible here in case of classes. And inside the main let us try to see how this is going to behave. So, we have demo class and we are going to instantiate that demo class. A new object is being created and the instance variable is my obj. With this instance variable my obj, we can call my method which is available inside this class demo class, and it actually belongs to your first interface, and then my obj dot my other method which belongs to the second interface, but the body is present or the definition is present inside the demo class. So, here we have kind of we can say achieved multiple inheritance with the help of interfaces, which cannot be directly done with the help of classes as in case of Java. But the point here which is to be noticed that interfaces by their definition will not have any body of the kind of we can say method which are declared inside the interfaces. That means although we have achieved multiple inheritance using interface, but for the class which is implementing interfaces, it is a must to provide body to all the methods of all the interfaces which it has implemented. So, that is a point which is to be taken care of. So, implementation of multiple inheritance with the help of interfaces actually comes with a price, I can say. So, in this way we have seen the concept of multiple interfaces also, and it is not only about the multiple inheritances, these multiple interfaces, sorry, these interfaces can also be nested. So, nested as the term indicates, one inside the another. These interfaces can be used as, or can be written as nested interfaces. That means we can declare interface as members of another interface. Not only another interface, the interface, one interface can be declared as the members of one class also, and such an interface is called a member interface or a nested interface. Basically, interface in a class, interfaces or classes can have only public and default access specifier, as we have already seen, and when declared outside any other class, they can have any either the public or the default access specifier, because these are the two access specifiers which allow them to be accessed outside the class. The public is available to all, and the default access specifier, as I have already told you, that this is nothing but the package private. So, within the interface we can have another interface, and here is the syntax which says interface first, and within this interface first we have another interface which is we can say placed inside this interface first, and it is named as second. And this is what you can see here is actually an example of the nested interface. So, one interface nested inside the another interface. So, one interface can also be nested inside the class, or we can say it can become the member of the class. So, interface within a class is perfectly okay, and also an interface within the another interface is also fine. So, this was actually the concept of nested interface, and in this lecture we have started with concept of interfaces. We have also seen the usage of interfaces, how are we going to create the interfaces. Then apart from this, we have seen the relationship between the interfaces and the class. We have also seen the differences between the classes and interfaces. Then we proceeded with the advantages of interfaces and some various important points to be noted, where to use interfaces, when to use interfaces, and towards the end we have also seen the concept of multiple interfaces and also the idea of nested interfaces. So, this was all about this particular lecture. Here is a list of references which is being used for the preparation of lecture. I hope you must have a fruitful learning in this. I will see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Goodbye.